Hey, so this is it. This is the 2013 Infiniti G37 Coupe that we're selling to Carvana. It's got 51,000 miles on it original. We bought it 10 years ago. Time for an upgrade. We're getting the Lexus RC 350, and that'll be the Up Sport. But we're getting ready to take it right now. Take this to Carvana and see what they say. They've offered us a good price. Hopefully they stick to that. If so, it's theirs. Okay, so the last several cars that I've sold, I've kind of used CarMax as a starting price, so I kind of know what trade-in value is, and I would know that I can at least get trade-in value from CarMax. So I want to try to get a little bit more from an individual if I'm going to sell it as a private sale. So on the Infiniti, it was actually a little higher than the 14.4 a few days ago. It was like 15,000. When I checked today, it's at 14.4, so it's already come down a little bit with CarMax. But anyways, you get the idea. 14 to 15,000 is the trade-in value, so I need to try to get more than that, I figured. So I checked there. Obviously, we were checking with Lexus dealers, so naturally we asked them to see how much they would pay, to see if it would be more than what CarMax had offered. Lexus of Clearwater was one of the dealers that we checked with, and they said 14 to 15,000 without seeing the car, pending the final inspection. So that was in line with what CarMax had said. So that made sense. So then from there, the dealer that we actually purchased from was Germain Lexus down in Naples. I I had asked him on the phone and talked to him through text messages and things, and they were only going to give like 11 to 12,000. So there was no way that they were going to get our trade in at all. So, anyways, like I was saying, I take the trade in value, the 14 or 15,000, and then I figure, I should be able to get a little more than that from an individual. So that's why I chose to list the Infiniti for 17.9 on Facebook Marketplace. So when I listed it on there, I started getting some inquiries right away, and one of them was a guy that had offered 14,000. So again, in line with probably what it's worth trade-in as a trade-in value, but not the private sale price that I was wanting to get at. So I told him that no, we've turned down higher cash offers, that he would need to be closer to the asking price if he wanted to purchase the car. So he was nice though. He said he couldn't go that high, but it looks like a beautiful car. So that was that. Thought that was the end of that with him. And then next thing I know, he messaged me again through Facebook Marketplace telling me that, so I bet if you run this through Carvana, they will pay you a really high price for it because of their algorithm. So for some reason, their algorithm, he's saying, and he ended up being correct, that they pay crazy money for that particular type of car. So I didn't think about going with Carvana to check for my trade-in value. I checked with the dealers, I checked with CarMax, failed to check with Carvana. So it was a good suggestion. So he says, sell it to them, you owe me a nice steak dinner, or a nice dinner. So I agree, if he could end up making us an extra $4,000 or $5,000, something like that, then he deserves something. So he got $100 check in the mail. So whenever I went to Carvana, this is what I found: 19,283, which was the exact price that our check was for. I was just amazed. All right, so we're doing it. We're selling our car to Carvana. When we got over to the drop-off center, we were just kind of surprised that they had a slot machine, or a vending machine rather, uh, that they have in their famous commercials. So that was pretty impressive to see in person. Pretty neat concept, I think. This particular one didn't seem to have too many cars in it at the time we were there, but pretty impressive nonetheless. Once we got inside, we met with one employee. We only saw one employee there, and she came out and verified that the mileage and the condition of the car was as we said it was. She walked around with her tablet, took a picture of the odometer, several pictures of the car, and that was pretty painless. Only took about 5 minutes or so for that. Then we're back inside. We got to see the place where the customers of Carvana put the token in when they come there to pick up their used car that they purchased. And that was kind of interesting. This is the slot where you put the token in. And we did ask the employee on this one, is this really hooked up? Is it just there for show? And she said that it really is. It really does work, and it's not just there for show. It really does work. So that was interesting. And we looked around a little bit while she's doing a little bit of her paperwork, and then on the last page of our paperwork that I signed, we got to the most important part: our check. It was a pre-written check for the $19,283 that they had promised us originally on our online quote. So I was glad to see that they actually did follow through with what they said they would do. They didn't try to chisel the price down in any way by coming up with an excuse to knock it down some. So that was a pleasant surprise as well. We got the full price. It has got me kind of wondering, though, is this part of Carvana's problem? Carvana is struggling some, and I wonder if they're paying too much for some of their cars. This is not to say that they're paying too much for all their cars. It depends on the model, probably. They've got an algorithm that helps price the cars, and I'm sure they have humans review the prices as well. But one thing for sure is they paid about $5,000 more for our car than competing dealerships, including CarMax, in our area. So if they're overpaying that much for this car, it makes me wonder if that's just part of their problem. If you have any ideas on this, any comments or experiences that you've had with Carvana, I'd be curious to read your comments. Please comment below. And I read all the comments that you'll put there, and appreciate all the comments. Sometimes I'll respond to them if I have anything to say back regarding your comments. But yeah, comment below, and I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. Okay, so if you want to find out how much your car is worth with Carvana, then go to Carvana's website, carvana.com, click on the Sell Trade tab, and then you're going to either be putting in your license plate number or your VIN. If you put your license plate number, that's what I did. Click your state and click Get Offer. You'll follow a few prompts. It literally only does take just a few minutes to find out what they want to offer for your car, and you can decide if that's what you want to do or not. Another interesting thing was that they did offer to come pick up our car after they made the offer, but it would have cost us, in our case, about $190 for them to come pick it up from our driveway. So we had a drop-off location that was not too far away, probably about 45 minutes away, and we did that and saved $190. So depending on your area, that price might vary, but that is a consideration. But overall, a really good experience and worth checking into for sure.